Get a little water. Get a little water. We are live. What's up, FanFest Live? How's it going, people? How are you doing? We're also on YouTube. Yeah. What's up, YouTube? What's up, app formerly known as Twitter? We are Shades of Blue. This is Tarek. This is Sharky Charlie.
Wakanda forever.
How's it going, homies?
It's all good, man. Glad to be here. Uh, I'm never gonna call that app. No matter how many Wakanda Forevers you throw up, I'm never gonna call it that.
I like it. It's like provocative, like X. Yeah.
Unless it's Malcolm X, it's the only X I know.
That is the only X we recognize.
Touche. Maybe Elon Musk is a fan. I don't know. That would be the biggest like turn ever, right? You would never expect it. You're like, yeah, I love Malcolm X. Like what?
I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell it by his actions or the rumors that come out of any of the businesses that he owns.
Crazier things have happened.
You're very true.
I don't know. It's hard to be crazier than that, though.
Yeah, that would be setting the bar. That's a very lit stream take. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's dumb hot here today. It's with the heat index, it was like 112 degrees. Are you guys getting that type of heat? No.
They cancel all the sports events. I mean, which really would be what I think JV football tonight, because soccer was yesterday. So they canceled all the evening activities. But I stay in the house pretty much all day, and then I get in my car, crank my AC, go get the kids, come back, get back in the house. So I don't know, man. It might be hot out there. I don't go out there.
Nah, we had a nice. It was like 83-ish, 84. It was like a pleasant day today and yesterday, and then it gets crazy. It gets a little warm. The worst is behind us on the East Coast. Like we had our heat early in August. Now we're just like regular, normal weather. Thank God. Hope y'all make
it. Might be coming your way. Who knows?
It's like a 2-day warm up tomorrow and Saturday, like 95, which is nothing compared to the summer. So 91, 95. I can't complain. It's not 112. I won't say that.
Okay, well, I want to talk about the news because he's been confirmed. He signed the digital signature on the screen. We got photos of him in the shirt. It's not rumors anymore. Jeremy, how do you say his name? Because his name has all those like nuss in it. So it's like, is it Jeremy? Like it's Jeremy Doku. I just need to figure out how you say it with the French. I want to respect the name.
We got to go back and get some YouTubing going. But right now, it's just Germ, Big Germ, Little Germ.
I do like that though, Little Germ, and then when he starts balling out, we'll call him Big Germ.
There you go. You got to earn that title though. Like Big Phil, he wasn't Big Phil always at the beginning. He was Little Phil. Then he became Big Phil when he started producing.
Yeah. How are we feeling about it, Tarek? How do you feel about it? I want to know about you because I guess I see Sharpie's takes on Twitter. So like I mean, half of these things I don't know what you're gonna say anymore. You really been throwing me for loops recently.
Well, got to keep everybody on their toes as best I can. I think so. Looking beyond the last match that we played, right? Because I felt like we played really well in that last match. I thought Phil playing centrally was able to do his thing. Being able to come in centrally. Alvarez did great. So my only concern, if you want to say it that way, is this man comes in. What does his playing time look like? Who is he taking minutes away from? I don't expect him to just start from jump. Most people don't, unless you're Holland or whoever. But I mean, I've never seen him. Well, I have seen him, but I wasn't paying attention to him when he was playing with Belgium. So for me, it sounds exciting. Looking forward to it. But we just got to see what happens. I've heard good things, read good things about first of all, his pace, which it felt like we were moving away from. I think there were a lot of people calling for a pacey winger earlier in the summer, and it was like, nope, we're not going to play that way. Even last year, no, we're not going to play that way. We're kind of moving away from pacey wingers. Heck, I was one of those people calling for that. So it was like, all right, fine, I got to just accept it, and it is what it is. And now we're bringing in a pacey winger. My only thing that I've heard that might be a negative is his his injury record.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, he's young, and we've brought in quite a few players that maybe had an injury record other places. And our medical staff, we've been working miracles.
Yeah, man.
So we'll see.
Yeah, and the whole injury thing that he had, it had about for a year, and then he came back. And
oh wow, a whole year?
Yeah, basically, it was like he would come back for a little bit and then play like a couple of games, and then he'd go away. And then when he came back at the beginning of the season, he missed a little bit of time, but it was because it was other parts of his leg, trying to get back to it. But after that, I think he played 23 of the last 25 matches of the season. So then he had this off season and he started. So I think he's, like you said, he's young. He has plenty of time to get past that. Sharpie?
I'm just happy he's black. If it was going to be him or Elise, just want another brother up here to represent us on X. But no, his style of play works. He's almost just like a Belgian Sterling. Like if you think about how Sterling played in Pep's system, right? Like he was able to get behind, but what people don't give Sterling credit for is
way more step overs. Way more step overs,
yeah, in that game. But it's just also like the ability to change speeds, right?
Yes.
Like that's the peak Sterling attribute because he could just kill you real quick. And I think Doku has that in his game inside of this Man City team because you just need to get to the byline and get across it. He can be your guy the way that Sterling did against Aston Villa, right? Like he can do that same thing. I do think that he is going to be third on the winger depth chart behind obviously Jack on the left, and obviously he's not going to overtake Bernardo if Pep has to pick up big 11 for a big match on the right wing, but he can get in, cut matches, can be a sub. He might need to start if Bernardo's down or if Jack needs to rest, right? I think because he does have both feet ability. Again, he can start on both sides like Sterling. He might be better left-footed than Sterling. We'll see. But I do like it a lot. Go ahead, Tarek.
Well, hold on. Before Tarek, I want to welcome our first guest in. He's a homie. I had him on represent this summer. Yes, just was it this summer? Lifetime is a construct. He's also a wrestling dude, so I mean, I might veer at everything real quick. He hosts an NXT podcast, Draped in Gold. He does a lot of most dope things. We could talk to him about football. We could talk to him about just anything because he was out doing a bunch of really dope things for baseball recently. Flobo, Boyce, what's up, homie?
I love to see so much chocolate on my screens, man. It's a beautiful game of football, man. I appreciate the intro. Thank you so much for having me. Tariq, Sharper Charlie, nice to meet you as well. Thanks for putting me on the show, man. I'm here on FanFest Live. I'm feeling it.
Hey.
Nice he was introducing you and talking about wrestling. So I was like, I wonder if he's old enough to talk about people like, Randy Macho Man Savage, or do I gotta go new school wrestling? Because I'm old.
I would say this. I grew up hardcore in the new generation era. So I would say I was more in that Reza Tatanka kind of thing, 92, 93. But of course, when you're young, everyone sits you down and gives you the classics. So I'm familiar with that. So I understand Macho Man from a nice wrestler, but the feels. I was a Razor guy, Tatanka guy, Duke Drozy guy. Remember him?
Yeah. So even the Ultimate Warrior might have been just a little too soon. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Ultimate Warrior was more like mid 80s or so. I got into it in early 90s.
Okay. And so do you have any thoughts on Doku at all? Like, how do you feel about the player?
So it's one of the things where I have been seeing so much fanfare for a signing in a long time. Usually when we sign someone, it's kind of like, oh yeah, we're just adding to the attack. But it was kind of a gaping hole on the right side that we needed for a long time. Of the few games I've watched, I'll be honest with you, I crammed some information. I'm not really well versed in Belgian top flight. You know what I mean?
But right.
You know what I mean? But the speed is there and the footwork is there. And I think one of the things that we're seeing now with teams trying to figure out City is that they may not figure out the entire team yet, but they're looking how to contain Holland. I mean, we talked about that in the Super Cup. We'll get that a little bit later, how he didn't have the space he needs. So you needed at the very least a distraction, at the very most a second scoring option or a pacing option. And of course, since you're paying total football and possession, why the heck not? I'm on board.
And I love the idea of Haaland sprinting one way and then the defenders go with him and you just have Doku just chilling in the back that you can just kiss a ball out to him and have him do whatever he needs to. I think it's going to be a great combination when he gets things figured out. But again, he's young. One thing, since we're here, I don't know. People are showing the photos of him and Cheeky. Have you seen the photo where the man doesn't have any flash on? He's like scowling. Let me see if I can find it. It bums me out. It's just like that's the photo that they're using, that he doesn't look all happy, and then they show all the photos with like him and Bernardo and Vardiol, and he's all next to him and he's all like smiling.
Now you gotta show me that if you have. Can you bring that up?
And then he's next to Doku, and then it's just like nah, and I'm just like, this doesn't help the rumors.
Right.
If I can find it. Oh man.
I think the nail on the head is about youth. You know what I mean? Like we love Mahrez and he was a hero for us in a lot of games. But I mean, with the pickups we already have, Man City is getting younger. And you mentioned how good the physio team is. And so you talk about the longevity of a system because we know Pep is not going to be here forever. That next manager is going to have to inherit a lot of what works to maintain any semblance of this kind of run. So it's all good signings across the board. And that wasn't even their first choice. I think they went Rice first. That was the first target, and then he went to Arsenal. So props for man for that one.
So to go back to the question that I was going to ask earlier, the thing that I've seen another criticism besides the injury record is the goal contributions, or end product, getting to the creating that assist, getting those goals. Now, granted, he's young, so we expect that to a certain extent. We expect that to continue to develop that part of his game and grow. But is there any concern that, like Jack, who was getting crushed by our fan base
right,
for that lack of end product? Now, Jack was 100 million, almost basically double what he's going to be, or he was. So maybe it's not as big a deal, but are we concerned at all about the expectations and being too big, too heavy on his shoulders?
Are you talking about the fact that he's a brother, or you just mean like in general being a player?
Nah, just the fact that he's gonna. Yeah, I mean, because again, we paid decent money for him, and again, when Jack went out there, Jack Grealish, he got killed. Still gets killed to this day for he doesn't score enough, he doesn't assist enough, regardless of whatever else he does do. Right. It's what he doesn't do that gets highlighted. In this case, this young man who, from what I see, doesn't necessarily get a lot of goals or get a lot of assists necessarily. Are we concerned about him being criticized by our fan base? And is that the expectations going to be too high for him coming in?
It's hard to say because the team has done so well over the past couple of years that we're just going to get spoiled either way. But I got to give a shout out to Sharpie Charlie, hit the nail on the head. I mean, immediately target one is going to be to distribute the attack and the threat. So as long as you have a pace that puts other teams off balance, you won't necessarily require to score 3 goals out of front like Holland was when he came over. But you're right. Over time, especially when we have so many fixtures and that congestion issue, there will be first team and second team and first team A. You're going to have to contribute. But I don't think it's an immediate problem now. And I think there'll be a lot of rope given to anyone who's picked up in this transfer window.
You know what's interesting though with that, Terry? That question is a great question, and I feel like the curious case of Calvin Phillips always comes to mind now, because when players are brought in, like everybody wants them to be great right away, right? Like it's flip flop. We used to like understand that people needed time in Pep system. Then it's like, wait, we've already had time, and now you're not doing it. And not us, but just like general city Twitter vibes. And it's like it's super annoying because it's just like if they're part of the team and they're playing, and Pep either trusts them or doesn't, like he makes the decisions, right? Like I feel like at the end of the day, the best manager in the world knows who to play, and he will play you if he believes in you. If he doesn't believe in you yet, then you don't play yet. And if Doku comes, and let's say for example, he only gets scrapped like 10 minutes in these next 2 matches before the international break, we can't say he's a bust, right? He just got him a pitch.
I'd be happy to see him. Yeah.
But like you all, like again, at what point is it a problem? For me, he's 21, so it's a 5-year contract. Like this is long game.
I don't think you hear that conversation about him like you hear about Calvin Phillips. Calvin Phillips didn't come in as a young player. Calvin Phillips came in as an experienced, quote unquote, veteran that was expected to come in and compete for minutes or at least spell minutes for Rodri, and he hasn't been able to do that to this point. So I think the expectations should be different. And I hope that we give this man the time that he needs. And to your point, we've always said it takes 2 years, before you really click within a Pep system. So I hope 1, he gets the minutes he needs to continue to develop, but then 2, he gets the time that he needs from the fan base. And I think that it's kind of a catch-22. If he gets too many minutes, then they're going to expect a lot. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't get enough minutes, he's not going to be able to develop well enough. So there's a catch-22 there, in my opinion.
I mean, look, compare him to like Kovacic and Vardiol, right? Who both have seemingly hit the ground running. You would have thought they've been playing for City for, they came in last year, right? They just look so, it fits like a glove. But I think at what they do, I want to say less nuanced because Kovacic is obviously in the midfield. But when you're up top in Pep's system, if you listen to Sam Lee, he'll tell you like wingers are told not to attack. Like you are told to go against everything you believe in. And that's where Jack had his struggles his first season, because it's like, you're telling me to do this, but I'm 1v1. But you're telling me don't go at a defender in the first part of the match. And I think there has to be more nuance in the supporter base to understand how we actually play and not what you want to see.
That's a hot take.
Yeah.
Like the days of 17, 18, Sane, Sterling bombing down the pitch are not happening. The spaces aren't there. So we're never going to get back to that. It's okay. But it's up for certain matches. And I think I just want more nuance. I want people to be more intelligent. And I know that's asking a lot in this world. But I'm a teacher. So I hope.
But also that's what I feel like we're here for at Shades of Blue, though. That's what we all keep pushing to people. Nuance. It's a thing, and it should be discussed. Jennifer in the chats, she said she's excited for Doku. Same. Bido Banter, who will be on shortly. Patience will be important with Doku. Remember, he's young. Yeah, 21. Dude's a baby. And speaking of, I'm wearing my Laporte shirt.
Okay.
His the video of him leaving. That's the first thing that came to my brain was just like, man, look how young he looks. Like his face, I was just like, he looks like a baby. It just doesn't feel like he's been here that long. But I mean, he really has. He's just been cooling. Obviously, the injuries have hampered him, and I also noticed that in his video is, there's a bunch of really old kits that I loved, and then all of a sudden it's last year. And the year before that, there's no in between. And I was like, oh, yeah, that was when he was injured. And he also did throw in a part where he was grabbing his knee in the video for half a second. There was a part where he's grabbed his knee, and I was like, oh, Emmerich! Oh, I miss him. But shout outs to you. Get that bag. What is it, 20, 25, 30 mil a year?
Playing with Ronaldo, right? He's in the Ronaldo squad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sheesh, already winning.
Right.
I don't think they've been that great though. Ronaldo's team, and they just get put out of
Yeah, they got beat
Champions
down.
League or whatever it was.
Yeah, but that's a resource, right? Like, yo, Ronaldo, what do you do to get ready for a match? All right. Well, what's your favorite color milkshake? You know, like,
How can I get me some of them Twitter followers so I can get some of this social media money?
yo, for
Right,
real.
just take a couple photos with them. I think it'll be fine.
Exactly.
Man, yeah. And then there's a rumor. Hold on, who's this Mendez that we're rumored to be getting? That's the Wolves player, right?
Oh,
Nunez.
Mathis? Yeah,
Nunez.
Mathis
Yeah,
Nunez.
Nunez. I don't know where did I get Mendez from.
Is that his agent?
Yeah,
Is that
Mendez
his
is the
agent?
agent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why he has all the Portuguese players. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean he's a baller. People are saying that he could potentially play as a Rodri position. I don't really see that, especially when I watch him. The man likes to get up. I mean, he's very good on the ball, so that helps. But I'm not too worried about that. I just want that announced. I actually want to wake up to that. I want that to just be waiting for me on Twitter when I wake up in the morning.
Why? Just because? Just to say we got more people in, or is there
Yeah.
a part of his game that you think that he's going to fill a void on our squad?
He is chill on the ball, but I believe if I'm not mixing him up, because a lot of the Wolf players, Mans is aggressive and he does like an aggressive pass. Like he's willing to. He's a distributor, and we need more distributors on the field. Like we have a lot of people who can dribble the ball and pass the ball. Well, not pass the ball, but dribble the ball, keep the ball calm, stabilize, all those sort of things. But now that KDB's gone, we need someone who's really going to be able to get other people in. Ederson almost got an assist the last match, but I don't think he's going to be able to do that every match. They're going to start looking for that.
Imagine every match is, yo, man, play forward.
Yeah, like Rodri got he made a couple really good, like, line breaking passes, making those passes towards Haaland. I feel like we're gonna have to be more aggressive without KDB, and I know that's a very simple thing, but actually, I'm Flobo. I wanted to get to your thing because you wanted to talk about the Super Cup. Was there anything specifically about the Super Cup that you wanted to talk about?
I thought it was just really interesting how we had this match and it could have gone either way, right? It could have either been 3-goal comfortable win, raise the cup, and get the next flight of town, or it could have been a shocking loss with a championship hangover. We got the middle. We got a bunch of mistakes. We got an opportunistic goal, and we had a shootout that went to the end. It was the most goofiest game in the best way, and I wondered if that was not how it was drawn up, but I wonder if that's something that's a bit foreboding, especially going towards the end or run stretch from the season. I mean, you look at the one goal we got. I mean, Cole Palmer's basically cleaned up an overshot pass that was pretty much targeted for Haaland, and he's pretty much going to be on his way out at the end of the season too. So there's a lot of questions I have. I think there's an opportunity to end on top again this season, but I do see a little bit of the cracks if this don't get sealed up as we roll on. I don't want your thoughts about the Super Cup match.
Yeah, I think thinking about that match, it was like the perfect storm if you wanted to see City. Like if you're an opponent, that's the perfect time to catch City, right? You have injuries in the squad, you're on short rest, a lot of travel. The heat, I think, was not talked about enough. It was really hot in Greece that night. You saw the water breaks and stuff. So I think it's just all this came together. Who knew? Our manager was going through back trouble. Everybody's just struggling. So in the moment that day, I was relieved that we won, right? I'm just happy we got out of it. But what we showed against Newcastle afterwards gave me hope that okay, we're good. And if we didn't show, that type of domination of Newcastle to basically pacify them and make them just sit back and not beat Newcastle because they couldn't get the ball, then I would be concerned. And let's be real, if Haaland scores, if he has a better game, we're not even thinking anything's wrong with City. Because Phil created 7 chances, 4 of them went to Haaland, right. 3 or 4 of them, right? So he just didn't finish. He had a really bad game, and that's okay. He can have it. He's human. But I think the progression in that 3 days showed me who we are, and that's the mentality that Pep talks about, right? That's who you have to be. That's who we've shown ourselves to be. That's the only way you want to trouble. So I was concerned coming off of the Sevilla match, but everything was kind of righted. The ship got righted over the weekend for me.
Yeah, I think you said it. The game had its ups and its downs, and when it's all said and done, you breathe that sigh of relief. Whew, we got it done. Um, it's a trophy that we did not have because we never had the opportunity to play in it because we had to win our way there. So you want to win trophies when you get the opportunity because you really never know when you're going to get back to it. So I was glad that they got the trophy, put the trophy in the trophy case, get out of there with no real injuries, and to be able to say that even when we don't play our best, it was like, okay, that's what they say about the market champions. Even when you're not on your game, you can still find a way to win, and we did. And then we look, in my opinion, quite a bit better against Newcastle. So again, it was early in the season. We know it's I'm not gonna say it's a trophy, so we want to win it. It's a one-off match, but maybe it's not a Premier League match or whatever. So seeing us come back and be able to play at in my opinion, much higher level of quality against Newcastle, it's like, okay, we're still who we've always been. We have our off days occasionally, but we're still there. So I thought it was all around a good match.
Can I ask? Oh, sorry.
We do need to round this up. So, I mean, yes, I do want to end with Flobo's voice, though. So, yeah, go ahead and ask.
Yeah, I was going to ask Flobo. So, going with that, kind of tying the two together, Sevilla, because we know Cole Germain scored the goal. We have Doku coming in. What's your solution for the minutes of these two young wingers? Do you want Cole to stay? Do you want him to leave and be sold and we get money for him? Like, because we've given our opinions multiple times. What do you think should happen?
Sure. Well, I said, even though Doku looks like you're going to have that fast pace, I said do the opposite. I would try to feint your opponents into thinking you're going to a faster paced matchup and trap them in the corners. But as far as Cole, I think it's time for him to go. I mean, not to say he was irrelevant. I'm not saying he was bad. He was a helpful hand. He's a Hernandez. He's a Brian Cage of your roster. He does his job well. It's okay, but it really doesn't set the world on fire. I really think there is a very important mission here, maybe secondary, maybe even primary, to show the world what Man City looks like on the back half of this decade. I don't think that Cole's in that situation. So, I would move him because I know there's something better coming as far as philosophy, not because of anything he did wrong or I think I don't like about him, anything like that.
Well, nailed it. Well, Flobo, please let people know how to find you, plug yourself, things you're up to, all those good things.
Yo, I gotta say thank you so much for having me on the show once again. I mean, this is always a good time to talk about the best football club on the planet. As I told you how I got involved with the club, Man City. But at Flobo Boys on X, I'm also on that Blue Sky. I got the threads as well. Draped in Goals, the podcast, every Wednesday morning. We basically do like NXT meets First Take. We basically argue the show in kayfabe. It's a cool show to watch. If you like comedy, if you like wrestling, make sure you check that out. And shout out to Tariq, man. I went to the Flagler College, but we used to party in U all the time. Drive 6 hours down to Coral Gables to
oh yeah, where'd you go?
Beverages. I went to Flagler, so like the opposite of the U.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Everything that sounds so opposite. Everything.
Yeah. Is it North Florida? It was like South Georgia at the time. Yes,
okay, it's all good. Everybody can't be you. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, you're right though. I can't get mad. You're like, yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah, Flobo, I appreciate you. I'm gonna, after I'm done with all this, I'm still behind. I still gotta watch NXT, and then I'm gonna be listening to Draped in Gold. So I'll be letting you know on the socials with my thoughts.
I appreciate you, brothers. Thank you so much.
All right,
thank you, man. Just send you a follow. Okay.
And I'm just gonna bring in the homie, Ken Chop Soccer. Oh, what's up, homie?
What's up, guys?
Wait, is he okay? Are you all right?
I know, right? You look like someone's.
He looks like Olivia Pope in Scandal. I'm actually concerned.
No, this is good. We just got some remodeling going on in the crib. So, I'm good. How y'all doing?
Oh, I thought maybe he was taking, mug shots like other folks today, taking mug shots.
Passport photos.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Get it right.
What I do love about your setup, Ken, you actually gave us multiple topics, so just a little short burst, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here.
You
And
got a lot to get to. Got a lot
yeah,
to get to. 15
and
minutes is a long time.
and I mean, do you have like a lead in, or should I just like read the question? Do you have like a reason why you're asking these questions? Because I'm intrigued.
No, just a good little docket. You know how we get down at Chop
Yeah.
Soccer. You know,
Okay.
everything's put together.
Exactly.
Big shout out to my boy Rocks. He's the
Rocks.
other half of Chop Soccer Pod.
What is it?
Want to
What
do
does
a
it stand
shout out right now. Follow us. Follow us at Chop Soccer Pod on all your socials. Chopsoccer.com. You know, we're here. Let's go.
Okay, so for the first topic is City death a concern versus Arsenal's death no longer an issue.
Yeah.
Do you mean that in general, or are you talking about because of the title race, the pressure being on Arsenal and the pressure also being on us with the tight squad? I guess, yeah.
Well, it's just looking at squad dynamics. One of the things that Arsenal really had trouble with, coming into into the season last season, was a couple of injuries here, there, mainly Saliba. And, there goes our title charge, right? Like we end up getting boat raced by something like 8 to 10 points by the time it's finally over, because we lose one guy.
Yeah.
That's like a really fragile squad. So over the summer, especially, during the winter, I guess, basically all year this year, the past two windows, we've kind of strengthened in a few areas. Meanwhile, if you just check out the news, Laporte's leaving, going to Saudi Arabia, City's starting to thin out. They haven't actually purchased a lot of people, this summer, but they have been a lot of outgoing transfers, plus the squad is aging, you start to get your injuries, that are already starting to pick up. Like Arsenal's lost Urian Timber, City's lost KDB, now, going into October, injury crisis with Champions League coming up, this is going to be one of those years, I think, where it's just going to be a slog to the finish, and it's going to be these little fine things like this that really make the difference on how many points you pick up, because the league's getting real tight, right? Like the past couple of years, you've seen that.
Yeah, I think that sounds good, and I think as an Arsenal fan, I would understand why you would say that, but I really don't think that, and that's really not any shade. I just really don't think that it's as close as you made it out to be, or that we've lost as much as now. Again, KDB being out is major, right? But for everybody that left, we pretty much brought in, I'm not going to say a direct replacement because those don't exist, but there is no other Gundo. Yeah, positionally, I suppose so, but there is no other Gundo, right? There's nobody that does what he does. But we did bring in Kovacic. You said we're going to lose Laporte, but we brought in my man Vardiol. So everything that we lost, we brought in something similar, and in some cases, maybe even an upgrade.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So this is all I'm saying. And we've actually copied this model from City, so respect to you guys. Like Arteta learned it, in City. But with squad rotations, you probably got 13 or 14 guys that you're calling your regulars, right? Mm-hmm. And what City's traditionally had is 13, 14 guys. You're just reading these names off a sheet. You're like, all right, know that guy, 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 so on and so forth, right? It's a little thin this year for City. That's all I'm saying. Not so much for Arsenal, the guys you brought in.
Hold up.
Okay, let's try for you.
No, because we out here lying on Beyonce's internet, and that's crazy. So let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Here are the defenders that Arsenal has. If we really want to just be real,
mm-hmm.
We did all this beefing up. Other than Timber, and I hate injuries. Injuries suck, and I wish he wasn't injured. Right? You still only have Saliba, White, Tomiyasu, Gabriel.
Kiwior. Kiwior is a Polish international.
Okay, I'm sorry. And that kid, right? So
we're
those are six defenders?
Yeah, that's 6 deep.
And we have the best defense in the world? with our defenders? Like, what are we talking about? Like, we upgraded from Laporte to Vardiol, and we kept everybody else. I don't understand how you could say we're weaker, thinner. Like, there's nothing. There's nothing. What's it called? The Death Star keeps going.
Oh.
Like, we're better. I think we're gonna be better long term this year because of the people we've brought in, because of what they do for the legs on the pitch. Love Mahrez, love Gundo, love Laporte. But if you're replacing them with younger, more athletic people, by default, you're going to be a more athletic squad. We saw that against Newcastle. We could go toe to toe for them and actually shut them down. So I don't know.
Who did you replace? Okay, so who did you replace Gundo with? Because I mean, Laporte was the first name that I named.
Kovacic, keep going.
Kovacic, how old is he?
29. He's younger than Gundo. He's
20
years old.
Oh, I was going to say I thought he was 28, but either way,
28, 29, right? He's younger than Gundo. That's my point.
Okay. So he's on the end of his career. All
No,
right.
he's not on the end. He's just younger, and he's clearly demonstrated he can run a show. Look great. Keep going. Who's next?
Okay. Let's see. Mahrez. Like, who'd you replace Mahrez?
we just brought in a kid Doku.
Brought in Doku. Still have Palmer. I have Phil Foden with more minutes. Keep going.
Okay, I have Phil Foden with more minutes. Okay. So now who are your next wave of guys? Right. So, like, are you just gonna, like, this is the point. Like, how many minutes are these guys gonna play? Right. Because, like, now we're arguing over your 13 to 14 when once we get past those guys, like, we've still got the likes of Trossard, Jorginho, Nketiah. We've got Vieira. We've got Vieira to put in some minutes. We got Nelson to put in a good shift. Like, we've got Hale Linders. We've got El Nini coming back.
I mean, El Nini. When was the last time he played, bro? You were doing.
Oh, now
good.
you're trolling.
You just had to keep going.
I thought you was serious.
You should have.
I got more names. Yeah, I got more names.
I
got more names.
But you're just saying words.
Right.
Though.
Well, we gotta be good hosts. We gotta be good hosts. We gotta be beating up our guests, man.
Let him
We can't beat up
What
our
are we
guests.
talking about?
No, because you guys just went 13 or 14. Okay, so who's next? All right, yeah, let's go to our
We
second
don't-
level.
I mean,
Well, I think
There are no
so. For
movements.
me, I think the point that you've made is take City off the table. You all have brought in additional depth, and I think that serves you well. And if the only reason you felt apart towards the end of the season was just Saliba, as you mentioned, or people being ran into the ground by Arteta, if that's the cause and it wasn't about quality, then yeah, I would expect you all to be better positioned to fight long term. We can debate whether or not that's actually the reason, but from your point, I understand if I was an Arsenal fan, I would be saying the same thing you are.
Okay, so let me ask you this though. Okay, so now that you have this club, you guys should win this season. What if you get second again? And what if worse? What if you get like third or fourth? Is it Arteta out? Like, let's flip it on you. How do you feel about this? Because this has to be a boom or bust season, especially because like the energy you lot really are running with, because you're like, we have this super beefed up squad that's going to be able to handle any situation. So is this your year?
No. Well, I mean, we hope this is our year. We are very confident this is our year. But is this a boom or bust season? No. Like, we're not going to blow this up if we don't win this year. I mean, we have guys that are locked in, that are young guys. Remember, last year we were the second, maybe the youngest team in the league.
You were the youngest, yeah.
So, like, we have these guys locked into deals for the next 4 to 5 years. Like, we're moving on dead wood. Like, we're moving into a cycle. Right. Like, and that's what you want to have. Right. Like, you want to be moving into the ascendancy, like, through these cycles. Right. So, like, fair play to City. Like, I'm not like trying to shade you guys in any way, but you guys are like, to be fair, you guys are at either the like, peak of your powers or you're reloading to go again. So if you're moving into a cycle to catch City, this is where you would want to be.
Yeah.
Right. You wouldn't want to be Liverpool, who's trying to like, replace people here, like, picking and choosing odds on, like, bringing in a 30-year-old, like, CDM from Germany, who's you're expecting to like slot right in and start. Right. Like, you don't want to do that. You want to be on like, the ascendancy here. So like, we're a little chesty about it, but if it doesn't work out this year, we still have 3 or 4 more shots at this before we have to start like shuffling.
Arteta's getting 3 or 4 more shots.
Yes.
You think?
Yes.
So if you don't win this season and then you don't win next season, you could see them bringing them out again for like the fifth or sixth season in a row of not beating City after doing all of this.
Well, that's 2 seasons, right? Like you said, could I see him getting another shot if we don't do it this season?
Okay. Yes. Okay.
2 seasons, we would have to have a discussion.
Okay.
But then, like, a lot of other things would be happening too. Like some of these contracts would start to come, would be starting to come to an end. Like, it would start to be one of these parts of the cycle where you have to refresh to go again, or you have to blow the whole thing up, right? So,
Okay.
like there's still time in this to work it out. And we have a really young team. So,
Well, I was going to move it to Champions League because,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
yeah, because we're both in Champions League. And even Biddle Banter asked, how do you see Arsenal handling the addition of Champions League in with all of your matches? Because the way that City works, naturally we want to win everything, and that should be your aim. And especially with the squad, you should for sure at least maybe like you should be able to get through the groups easily. Like that's my opinion, even with subbing and being able to get play other players. Is like, how do you see the season going? I want to see this side of you. I want to hear the Arsenal. And yeah,
Champions League is going to be real hit or miss for a lot of teams. Have you seen these pots? Like,
Yeah,
oh no, I
gotta
actually
pull it
didn't
up
see the
now.
groups. I was gonna say,
yeah,
I actually didn't
you could mess around. You could mess around and get some bullshit, man. Like, just looking at some of these just looking at how some of the teams are distributed. Like Real Madrid's in pot 2. So there's there's a fine, there's a high likelihood you could get like a Manchester City, Real Madrid, AC Milan.
We're the champions. We're gonna get
Like-
something nice and cush. What are you talking about? We're gonna get like Union Berlin. Actually, I don't know who we're gonna get, but
They're
we're
in
gonna
pot.
get some.
They're in
chill.
pot 4.
They're in pot 4.
Yeah, I know. I said, but yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
So-
think it's gonna be that crazy.
But
You
the,
know.
the question that he asked in the doc, though, who would we not want to see in pot
Yeah.
2? So
Who would
pot
you-
2.
Wait. We're not letting him answer the question. What is Arsenal going to do in Champions League? Like that, I want to hear it.
Oh,
'Cause the days
okay.
are so deep and so beautiful. What are y'all doing? Are we winning things? Are we just happy to be there? Are we just trying to make it
quarters,
around the
you know,
16?
quarters
Okay.
semis is a successful season there.
Mhm.
I don't think we have any of our like core that's been that deep in the Champions League. I think Saka's maybe played in Champions League once or twice. Like, that's mostly Europa League action. Declan Rice has never been anywhere close. We got Gabriel Jesus who's been there, but he's never led a team there. He's been like a secondary figure. We have a lot of those guys that have never like led teams there. So this is going to be like a growing experience for a lot of them. Good thing is they have European experience. So, quarter semis is a good season.
So quarter semis Champions League. What was your preseason like Premier League poll? Because we all think City's winning 4 in a row. We said it early. We said it in August. We said it in June. We said it in July. Where did you put Arsenal at the start of the season before Timber got hurt? I'll give you that.
Some type of double.
Okay. So trophies is the expectation.
Yeah, trophies are the expectation. Realistically, the height of Arsenal season is some type of double,
Okay.
right? So you get Premier League, FA Cup would be a massive season for Arsenal this year, right?
Anybody?
Premier League, Premier League, what is it now? The Carabao Cup?
Carabao.
Yeah, Carabao. Yeah. So that would be big, trophies are good. We are already, nobody rates the Community Shield until you win it. So
Y'all won it. Y'all did it.
we won it. So
But you're not counting that as one of your 2, right? You're talking about 2 more.
Oh no.
Not-
Oh, you best believe if we win the Premier League and we win the FA Cup,
It's a
we had a
double.
treble year. No, that's a treble.
So
Oh, okay,
let me
got
ask
you.
this question though. So the
That's a
expectation,
That's a
the
treble.
expectation is trophies. If
Yeah.
you come out with only the Community Shield,
Mm-hmm.
how does that sit with you? And to Crunk's point, does Arteta survive no trophies this year?
Well, that depends on how it plays out. Because if we get a Champions League final and like a second in the Premier League and no trophies, like you can't say that's not progress, right? Like, it's not what you would want, but like, that's the best of kind of like a bad situation, So like it kind of depends on like how that plays out, right? Like if the wheels fall off, then Arteta, like he's gonna be on thin ice next year. But like, like no trophies isn't the end of the world, right? Like Spurs have had no trophies for how long, and they come back every season with like optimistic and shit. So,
But y'all tell us that y'all are bigger than Spurs, so
Oh, we're the biggest team in London.
We were weaker. I can't get past that, dog. Like he came over on our show talking cash shit.
Hey man, I remember.
Yes, it's the lit stream. He's supposed to come on here and talk crazy.
Yes.
I remember Crunk went and talked to me for like 3 months until y'all caught us.
Wait, what?
Crunk wouldn't say anything to me on the internet for like 3 months when we were leading the league because I came on here at the beginning of last season.
Oh, and don't do that. Don't do that. Y'all ain't even on social media like that for me to call you out. Y'all like disappear on social media for like months at a time. Like, why am I gonna?
I told y'all last season. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun season. I cannot wait.
It's gonna be great.
For you all are in pot 2. We're in pot 1. For you all, your options in pot 1, you can't get us. You can get Sevilla, Barcelona, Napoli, Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain, Benfica, or Feyenoord. Who do you want? And then 2, who do you want to avoid?
I mean, I think everybody wants like Feyenoord or like Benfica, right? Like those are the ones everybody wants. I'm not afraid of anybody else on this list, really. Like nobody, like, yeah, those would be tough games, but like none of these teams, like I don't look at any of these teams and it's like, okay, like we're going to go get embarrassed. Like, I mean, being an Arsenal fan, man, like, I remember some beatings in the Champions League, dude, like some beatings.
Those are some old memories. Damn, it's been a few years.
Yeah. No, these are like the Wenger days when we'd show up and get like 8-2 at like Bayern, man. Like, and I'd been a fan for like 10 years at that point. Oh man. So like, yeah. But no, I'm not really afraid of anybody here. I guess the one team I really wouldn't want to see is like Napoli, because like Osimhen, like I wouldn't want to play there away. Like I just wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, Kvaratskhelia, Osimhen.
Yeah,
they get very busy.
Yeah,
he would have your defenders in hell,
and that stadium gets rocking. Yeah, I just imagine, man. Like anywhere else, Barcelona, they're not even playing in their stadium this year, right?
Yeah, so, they're away. Yeah,
yeah, that's not that bad. PSG, who knows? They drew at the weekend, and Mbappe might not be there. Like, who cares? Like Bayern's kind of scary, but yeah. What about you guys? Who do you guys got in pot 2 that you would not want to see?
For pot 2,
nobody.
For pot 2, our options that we can get are Real Madrid, Inter Milan, Borussia Dortmund, Atleti, RB Leipzig, or Porto.
I want Atleti.
We beat them all. We literally just beat like half.
I want Atleti. I just want more dark. I want all the dark arts, and I want to show them how much better we are at dark arts than them. I want Pep to beat Diego Simeone so badly that they finally go, we need to move on from him. That's why I want us to see Atleti.
I guess if there's a team that I'm not afraid of any of them. I think we beat all of them. Just off of history, it would be Real, but again, they don't have Karim Benzema, so I think they're a little bit less threatening. But again, they still have Vinicius, so I think they'll still be decent. But I'm not like you said, I'm not afraid of any of these teams. I think we beat all of them, and quite honestly, we could do the double over all of them.
Yeah, I mean, Pep showed the blueprint for Champions League last year, right? Like, let's go to the recent history. Against the best team in your group, all you have to do is draw. You draw 2, win 4. you win the group and you have the better goal differential. That's the formula. So whoever we get, he's going to play conservative away. Like, we can run this clip back in the spring. He's going to play conservative away, and then when we get to home, use the fortress, dominate, go for the win there. So I would love to see Real Madrid early, because that means we wouldn't see them until late, like the latest possible matchup.
Smart.
So I would rather see the big gun at the beginning, and then, like, when the time comes, see them in a final. Because I would love to play Real Madrid, like Los
In a group
Negros
stage match?
City. Huh?
That would be good. I said, yeah, no, this is saying in a group match, Real.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That'd be a good time. Yeah, that would be
oh yeah. That's the best time to probably play him.
right.
Because I mean, like, you start getting that like late Champions League magic going, buddy. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen with Real Madrid. You just never know.
For us, I think we beat anybody in over 2 legs. The only game that matters to me is the one-off final, because that's a one-off game. Anything can happen. But I think, to Charlie's point, if you give me 2 legs, even against the best teams in the world, I think we have enough to beat them, because I think we have the defense to keep it tight on the road if we want to, and then go at home, we have the quality to just blow you out. So yeah, I'm not afraid of anybody in a 2-legged matchup, which is why having Bayern over 2 legs last year, having Real over 2 legs last year, it worked out perfect. Now, we had a one-off that we had to navigate against Inter, but I'll take that every day of the week.
Do you guys expect to challenge for Champions League again?
100%.
Yeah, I for us, we are at a place where every trophy should be on the table.
We
Now,
should be in the
again,
semifinals of every single
yeah,
competition.
things happen. They don't always get there, but I mean, to your point, Charlie, semifinal at least, if not win all of them. I mean, that's just not expectation, but that's the belief coming in.
The only caveat I will say is this, and let's be real, right? It's like, if Saka got hurt for Arsenal, it would dramatically change what you thought the team could do, right? If Haaland gets hurt, then my expectations shift. But if we have Haaland, I fully expect us to be right. And honestly, I'm going to say this, and I've said it before. What's his name? Kevin De Bruyne only has 2 seasons left. So I think even before injury, I thought this is going to be Phil's kind of breakout season, where the torch starts to get passed. And so, is Kevin still great? Of course. KDB is amazing, legend, icon, all of that. But for us to move again and to keep going, Phil has to do what he did against Newcastle just about every week. He has to do what De Bruyne does. And I think this is going to be a blessing in disguise, because now you're going to get, instead of Real, because Mars was on the bench last year, I'm thinking about the Champions League final. If you put Foden into the lineup for Bernardo Silva, you have a totally different explosive team. And I think he has to earn Pep's trust. But if he earns it, God bless y'all, man. Because I don't know how you stop us. I really don't.
I guess I just don't rate. I guess I just don't rate Foden.
Oh my God, we got to get this man off of here.
Now rating Foden is crazy, bro.
Luckily, the time is. Luckily, his time is.
Those are fighting words.
But I mean,
I respect it.
I like this energy though. I knew
way to end it.
I knew bringing you on was gonna be fun, kid. I knew it was gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I wish you all the best this season. Like for real. Like, I hope this is a really fun season. I hope it's tight.
Yeah.
I hope I hope it's a memorable season. I hope it's not like a blowout in either direction. I hope it's fun.
Yeah, I do think it's gonna be like a 3-4 horse race. I think Newcastle's gonna.
Oh no.
No, not on Newcastle.
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, Europe's going to catch up to them. This is. I'll end on this. A lot of problems. A lot of the things that teams are going to face this season are really going to be like wars of attrition. And if you're not prepared to go through these wars of attrition, you're going to end up front loading a lot of minutes on guys, or taking L's early. And I think a lot of clubs, just for the commercial aspects of it, are going to try to back end a lot of those L's. And, it's going to cost them when it comes to their players.
All right. I mean, that's a great way to end. Well, I appreciate you, homie. You good luck on the remodeling of the home.
All right.
Good
Always
luck.
glad to have you, man.
Remember, sports fans, party like Rodman, win like Jordan.
Oh, I like that. I
Love
like
it.
that.
Appreciate it, man.
See you,
guys.
homie. All right, well, bit of banter. Whenever you want to hop on, homie. You got the link, right?
He was in the chat. Let's bring some
Yeah.
sensible person. Yo, can we just talk about how crazy that was? Like, that was like coming in my house and
No, this is what I want. And I
Nah,
knew
'cause-
Ken was going to because Ken's a wild boy. Like, he has no problem talking with his chest.
it was just wild.
Hey, what's up, homie? Bit of banter. Quickly let us know who and what is Bit of Banter.
Thank you on mute. I might have to do the reload.
Oh, do we lose him?
Yeah, because I think his sound was messing up, so he's probably gonna try to come back in. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh,
That should be better now.
Yeah, sound, no video.
Sorry.
But yeah, we good.
Yep. No.
Well,
So
now-
bit of banter is
now we
what
can't
I was
see you.
on- Huh?
Now we can't see you.
Oh, we got 3. Oh, 2.
Let's see if I can. No,
Okay.
turns it off.
Oh,
Yeah, that's weird.
It's kind of mysterious. Let's just go with it. It's
Yeah.
mysterious.
okay. Well, it's weird. I could see all on my end. So bit of banter is what I was on last lit stream. It was Talkman City became. I kind of ended Talkman City and joined up with 2 of my friends from one's a Chelsea fan and one's a Brighton fan. Unfortunately, the Brighton fan couldn't be here tonight, which was the original plan. But we decided to all collaborate and kind of become just a Premier League podcast. So it's the next edition, if you will. But I'm happy to be here tonight. Thank you for inviting me back on to represent City. I kind of lost it a little bit at the end there when he didn't rate Foden. I'm not gonna lie.
Talk
But-
about that. Just go. Talk about it.
I'm sorry. Like, I know you got Bukayo Saka, and I really wish he was still here to defend himself because we'd have some back and forth. But like, just compare the two. Compare the trophies. Compare the development. Compare the clutch moments. Like, how can you not rate Phil Foden? Even as I get it. There's rivalry but Arsenal's not a rival. They're not. They're not a Liverpool of 18-19. They're not what United has been. Like, you have to respect game. Like, Foden is the greatest young talent in the Premier League right now. No one is better than him.
Ooh.
No one is better than Foden in the Premier League. There was a time when Phil Foden was compared with Haaland and Mbappe. Let us not forget this. I think it was when we went to the Champions League final the first time.
First time. Yeah.
So you can't, when has Saka been in that conversation? And I got a lot of respect for Saka. Love the kid. I would actually take him at City. Hand to God. I would take him at City. But he's no Phil Foden. Sorry.
Ooh. Came out firing. I will say to this. Love the take, first of all. I rate Saka just like I think you should rate both of them, right? Like they are great
100%.
players. And they're different players. Because Saka is a pure winger. Foden
Agreed.
has been playing as a winger, but is truly, as we see, a central mid. He's an 8 or 10. Like the winger is something he does. It's not who he is. And so I think the only argument the Saka people have is the production because he's played more, so he's produced more with the double-digit goals and assists. But you flip a coin, you're going to win. I love both of those players. England's lucky to have them both as a country, and they should definitely start them both. But I love the take. I mean, I can't argue against either one. Like, I love it.
For sure. I think I would have to agree with you. I think you have to rate both, but I guess being on the City side of things, Foden's just done more impressive stuff. And maybe Saka suffered from being in an Arsenal team that wasn't ready to win championships. That could be definitely part of it. But then the goals and assists thing, I mean, it's kind of like an eye test thing for me. Are we going to rate Bernardo as less than because he doesn't get the goals and assists? No, we know how important he is.
I think that's the key, right? They both get. If Saka had been with us, he would have the trophies that Phil has.
Agreed.
If Phil was playing for Arsenal, he would have the numbers and the minutes and the acclaim that Saka is getting because he would have played more. They would have seen more of him. It's not that either one. I mean, I'm a Phil fan because, again, I'm a City fan. But I think they're both, to Charlie's point, they're both really good players. Both super young and have a great future still, moving forward in the game. And it's a little bit of, whichever you prefer. You can't go wrong with either one. It's just your preference. My issue, to DT3's point, is when Arsenal fans act like giving Foden his due makes Saka somehow less of a player. So it's like I have to downgrade Phil in order to big up Saka. I don't feel. I think they're both great players, but if you ask me my preference, I want Phil, and I just like the way he plays.
I think that's an interesting thing about and I don't want to throw every other fan base under the bus, but it's an interesting thing I've seen in a lot of the other Big Six fan bases is they have to diminish everybody else in order to hype up their players. Whereas, at least from what I've seen and from City fans, is we're pretty even keel about it. Is like, yeah, they're a great player, but we have X player or we prefer this player.
That's all. Yeah, our player clear all that nonsense. Look at our and since their players don't have any of the trophies or anything, that all they talk about is aura and swag. Look how cool. That's all. That's what I've been seeing so much from their Arsenal, their jersey drop, because they did like a old school cool thing where they're all wearing dress. It looked very similar to what City did before, but it was just so funny because they're just like, look how swag we guys look. I was like, out time. It's taking you guys forever. You guys have kind of been like swaggerless for a while.
It's a bit bold with their jerseys putting gold on it, though, when you haven't won anything. I will say that.
Okay, say that. Okay.
That is true.
Man, look at you. You filling right in for Rodney coming in there with the I love it. Okay, but I did want to go to your topic because you wanted to discuss Newcastle and talk about Newcastle and how far they can go. What did you see? Like we've talked to each other about the match and everything. So what did you take from this City Newcastle match?
So I was super impressed with it. There's been quite a bit coming off of the Super Cup and kind of this disappointment that it was. I guess I'm happy we won it, but the way we played was a bit, it was a bit of a letdown when I felt like we could have probably blown them out a little bit more than we did. So coming off of that and coming with the expectation that I normally see from City, where we start the season slow, it's going to be this slow build up. And I say every year, let's have a conversation about the league in like December or January when it's really busy and we actually have an established table and injuries have taken place and all the competitions are going, because City never start strong. So to see us give that performance, and I was worried about Newcastle with that performance against Aston Villa, with the reinforcements they brought in, specifically in Tonali, I thought we were going to have a super tough time playing against him. And to see us dominate possession and dominate play the way we did was very encouraging. I don't want to go out and say we're going to walk the league, because there's just too much to predict. I'm never that full of chest, I guess, to say we're going to walk the league. There's too many unpredictable variables in saying that, and I tend to be a bit more practical. But seeing that performance, I think it was a statement performance against a team that's on the come up and that is going to go very far. I've got nothing but praise for Newcastle. I'm very excited to see them in the Champions League and compete for these competitions. I think Eddie Howe has done an amazing job. And I love the story they have, because as City fans, we kind of have to relate to it, I think, a little bit. Is they've been down fighting relegation battles for so long, and finally they got bought out by wealthy owners, and they could have done what I've seen the Saudi League do, where they blow tons of cash, make all these huge offers for all these players, but they've spent wisely, they've developed players, and they've gotten where they are, in my opinion, I guess, quote unquote, the right way. And that's why I want to pose a question to you is, how far do you think they can go, and where do you see them ending up in terms of competing with City?
This year,
Yeah, this year.
I think they're gonna be so close yet so far on everything. They might be able to get it like a Carabao or something like that, but unless they make it an effort to just be like, hey, we're going to win this one trophy. But they made it to the FA, not to the FA final,
The
whatever.
Carabao final.
Yeah, the Carabao final.
yeah.
And then
It's
so
united.
like I think they want to win that because, and honestly, I can't. That's why I want City to win it, but I understand why we're way above it. But the Carabao Cup, that held us down a lot at the beginning of the Sheik reign. When we started winning, we were like winning the Carabao Cup every year. What was it, 3-4 years in a row? And that was that just helped us push us, and and then the trophies became greater and the consistency became better. I mean, I think they should aim for the Carabao. Carabao are bust, and I know that sounds like possible hate coming from a City fan, but I mean, I legit think that that's what they should do. Is just there we go. Is just aim for a Carabao Cup, and maybe if they can figure out another trophy, go for that.
I got Newcastle best case scenario. A great season for me would be round of 16 Champions League, right? Make it out of your group because they're in pot 4, so they're going to be in a tough group. There's just too much in pot 1 and 2. Like, you're going to have to survive your group. And then I would say Premier League, just stay in top 4. Like, making top 4 in Premier League now when you have 8 teams that have a honest to God chance, or really top 5 gets you in the Champions League next year. So I think staying in Champions League places is a big deal. And to do it consistently is very hard. We make it look easy because it's just like our birthright is second place or first under Pep, right? Like, it's just what we do. But it's super tough to stay in the Champions League every year. Everybody has dropped off at least one season. Look at Liverpool, look at Spurs, look at Arsenal, Chelsea, obviously last year. It's super hard. So if they do that, their fans, I'm sure, be happy. Like the homie we had on last week. I think that's what he was saying. So
Yeah, Byron. We got you. We see
Yeah,
your
sorry,
face.
boys. I
No,
don't
you're
know.
good. No, you're fine. We got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Shoot, man, Newcastle. Okay. Oh man, Brighton. Didn't they had an injury? In
Cisse,
Cisse.
right?
Yeah, and
Man.
Ciso, he just went out. That's a real big blow for them. But
And I know they're hoping to rely on him pretty big. I mean, I know their whole thing is relying on youth and maybe making some money off of that. But I asked last season, how long can they really keep this up? And when do you start holding on to players to try to start winning? Do you just always want? And I know that that's their thing, is they made these promises to these young players to eventually get them off. But when do you stop being a stepping stone? Do you just always want to do the best with a ragtag group of kids every single season? That sounds stressful.
yeah, I don't know. It's a tough question because, like you said, it's kind of their business model for Brighton and how they keep themselves in, the Premier League. But I think it's more of, if they can consistently produce, eventually maybe the ownership group changes their attitude towards it and be like, well, we got this far because we had these players. Now we need to work on keeping them. So I don't know what that looks like specifically, because what I really see happening, especially if they have another season where they do well, even if they, don't make top 4 again, or they didn't make top 4 this year, sorry. Even if they come close to making Europe again, people are going to come in for Matoma. People are going to come. We've already seen them come in for. People are going to come in for Enciso. Like, they're going to get picked off, and the big thing they can't afford to lose more than anything else is De Zerbi. And I think once somebody comes in for him, you're going to see him drop back down to bottom mid table. So it's really a decision from the ownership. Is, do they want to stay and do they like being at this place and really compete for trophies, or do they want to continue the model of being a selling club?
I think they have a chance to keep De Zerbi only because the only job I see him leaving Brighton for would be like Liverpool.
Really?
Yeah, because if you look at the top 8, top 7 teams in the league, people either just got new managers like Spurs, United, Chelsea, or you're like a Liverpool where one offseason we know how they do, but if Klopp was to leave, De Zerbi would be a perfect replacement. The same way he would be a replacement for Pep. And I don't
that's
see
where I
Klopp
go with
leaving.
it.
Huh?
That's where I go with it. I see if he can do a similar performance this year with that team, you know, we got to start thinking about we're not going to have Pep forever. I don't
Yeah,
think
2 more years. Yeah, this year,
Yeah,
next season.
I
25
know.
or something.
but I can see him stepping in and playing. I can see us playing De Zerbi ball for sure.
Yeah. I hope he waits for us. If he waits for us, I think it's a perfect transition. And I think that would be awesome. But I still rate Brighton even without him because all De Zerbi has to do is change his lineup and play 2 strikers. Because he didn't start Ferguson, he didn't start João Pedro. They also have Mohamed Daoud, who played at Dortmund, who's a capable midfielder, who can slot in. Like he's not Enciso, but he's good.
Yeah.
I just think the system keeps going. Like you play in that system. They started James Milner and won 4-1.
That's a good point.
Like they just do this. I don't know how they do it, but they're amazing. Go ahead, Sarah.
So with Enciso going out, attacking mid, more number 10-ish, but they've been looking. I believe there were rumors that they were looking at Cole Palmer. Does that increase their desire for Cole, whether that be full, actual purchase or a loan? Do we think that triggers something there?
No, bro, you got Amex on your shirt. You are paying us.
I mean, they have to.
After all the manhandling they've been doing, like they get no breaks,
Sympathy,
no support.
yeah.
You're premium for this dude, especially because I know you need him. Premium.
City couldn't turn down 40. I think because 30 was the early rumor. If they say 40 for Cole Palmer with his minimal experience, you say bye-bye, Cole. Thank you so much. Love you, mean it. Bye.
Yeah.
But the same way we're going to have to overpay for Nunez because of just supply and demand. Like it's too late in the window. Wolves have the leverage. So if they want 10 more million, we got to give it to them.
And that's potentially going to be the one player that Wolves, they're going to get relegated. I wanted to believe in them, but if they lose him, because they've already lost like Raul, he's at Fulham. They're just getting rid of all of their players.
Neves is in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. It's just like y'all don't want to win, do you? They're reading the tea leaves. That's all.
That's why they lost their manager, because Lopetegui was like, "Hey, you told me I had money," and then they told him like, "No, you can only get players on freeze," and he was like, "Nope, I'm out." So they actually need the money from us. So I don't know who has more leverage in that case. Hopefully that breaks tomorrow and we just get it done. But did you guys realize that Nunez had a red card? Like he got angry, got that second yellow against Brighton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I saw it happen. I was watching it for our episode.
He was petulant. Like Pep is definitely gonna bench him for a while because he's gonna throw a temper tantrum.
I mean, he also be playing with the winning side. I would be pissed too if I came from actually winning games in Portugal to come to the Premier League and lose. And that has to weigh on you. Like I would be pissed off getting blown out 4-1. I too would be.
I feel that.
Yeah.
And
so
your manager
I think,
got fired. No, I feel that.
Yeah. This last week of the window is going to be exciting. It always is, because last year we literally got a Kanji on the last possible day. So who knows what's going to happen in 7 days from now?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm glad when the window's closed.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
By this point in the transfer window, I'm just like, can it just be done? I'm so tired of personal terms agreed, bids rejected, second bids rejected.
See, I don't even pay attention to any of it because I know it's just going. There's so many ups and downs, ins and outs.
You're a better man than me.
I just say, tell me what the team is going to look like at the end, because I can get caught up in an individual player, and that may change. Right? Is it going to be Florian Wirtz? Is it going to be Doku? Is it going to be Olise? Doesn't matter. All that matters is we're going for a winger that's going to play on the outside. We're going to have somebody by the time the season starts. I'll figure out the name when it comes. That's why it's like, should I get a jersey? No, because I don't even know what the team makeup's gonna look. The team is gonna look like. I'm just gonna wait, and then on that last day, I'll be like, okay, this is what I think we did, how we've done. This is my grade if we want to give it that. I see Charlie, you said in Cheeky We Trust, and that's real for me. It's like I've seen this man consistently. We come in with the best squad every year, and if you get too focused on one individual transfer, you're not. It says to me that you haven't paid attention to all the years up until now. At the end of the day, we will end up with the player that makes the sense for our squad, because there's this hierarchy of players that they're going after. I'm sure they don't always get our first choice, but we have a profile that we go looking for, and if we don't find that profile, we just stay at home. We keep the money in our pocket and spend it another day.
Yeah, and truly, once, because they seems to do it every single year, and Cheeky has earned so much goodwill and credit in my eyes off of bringing Akanji in for less than 20 million. Like, what? And just see what we're doing. He's playing midfield now. It's just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Now, obviously, he has some kind of weird AI that hasn't been invented yet, and he's using it to the best of his ability.
You know what it is though, Crump, is that he has standards. Cheeky doesn't get abused on a deal. He's never going to overpay. He walks away like we did the Maguire walk away. Mm-hmm. We did the Cucurella walk away. He has a number. If you want more than that, good luck. I have somebody else ready for you. Even with Paquetá, we thought he was the one. And gambling allegations and investigations. Okay, we got another one in the background. We know who else. Like, they have a board. They know their numbers. If you watch the documentary, he has his big spreadsheets. They have their model, and they know who the player is that can be next up. And I love that. Like, there's no panic in City. So I wish that City supporters would stop panicking as well, especially when we've won every match this season. Like, we are undefeated this season. Yes, it took penalties against Sevilla, but that's 3 wins from 3. And regardless, going to beat Sheffield United. I already predicted we win the first 7 of Premier League games. Pep hurt, whoever hurt, it doesn't matter. And this train doesn't stop. Like, I don't like what Ken was talking about. Like, we aren't going to get weaker, guys. We missed 5 people from the Champions League final in that win against Newcastle, and we still beat them. So yeah.
All right. Well, bit of banter. Have you plugged yourself? Plug yourself. Let people know where to find you guys, how to find you, where to listen, all those good things.
Yeah, you can actually it's at BitOBanterPod on all the socials, Instagram, X, YouTube. I think we have a Reels as well. And then, just Spotify is for the audio, YouTube for the video, and that's where you can find us. Hey. But thank you guys so much for letting me be on again.
Of course.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming through.
Yeah. You have a good rest of your night, homie.
Take care, bro.
All right. Well, this went long. I mean, I don't mind it. The conversations was great. It was flowing. As long as the conversations is flowing. That's Tarek. That's Sharpie. We're Shades of Blue. This is FanFest Live. I appreciate you. This is the Liz stream. We'll see you on Saturday for our kickoff show for Sheffield. Those poor Blades. Sunday. Oh, you're right. Hey, even better. I get one more day off. All right, cool. Hey, well, I appreciate you. Y'all know the vibes. Shady gang. Deuces.